Hi everyone. So back in week 1, I chose track 2 for my weekly readings, which is the higher education track. I chose that because once I become a nurse educator, I will be teaching in the higher education setting. So for this learning video blog, I chose the website Campus Technology and an article titled Survey 1 in 4 Professors Ban Mobile Phone Use in Class. I chose this because, for one, it's very relevant. Most everyone has a smartphone nowadays, and the main reason I chose this is because I actually allow some smartphone use while I'm teaching the BSN students in the sim lab. So I kind of wanted to see if I felt like after this article I was on the right track or the wrong track by allowing mobile phone use while teaching. So the article found that 26% of the professors that were surveyed do allow students to use mobile phones, and 25% do not. And about the other 50% allow limited use, which is where I think I come into play, and I'll go over that in a little bit. Some of the thoughts of the professors were explored, and one thought is that they should be banned because people need time away from their devices, that people feel like they always have to be connected, and that it's a good thing to be away from your devices some. And I can understand that because anytime you go out into public anymore, whether it's a restaurant or wherever, people are always on their phone. So it is that nice break for some communication, some eye contact, some learning away from the device. So I do understand that point. Another point, which is kind of the other side, is that they should be integrated into teaching because they can be integrated into learning activities, and the professor actually stated that they thought that when this happened, students actually absorbed content better. Another point that was made in the article, which really stood out to me, was that students often don't use their smartphones to the maximum. They use them for social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff, but they could be using them as a mini computer, as it says, to gain knowledge and resources, and it could be really beneficial for them. And this is how I want my students and allow my students to use their smartphone. For instance, when they ask me a question, I often say use your resources. Well, because of the setting we're in, there's not books, there's not laptops, there's not computers, but they have their phones. And instead of just me giving them the answer, I have them look it up on their phone, because by the time they look it up, read it, and then repeat it back to me, I feel like they retain it so much better than me just giving them the answer. So I really do like that use of smartphones in the classroom. The article found that about 21% of the institutions surveyed provide some sort of devices for their students, while the other 79% provide no devices for their students. And about 50% of the faculty think that institutions should provide devices, while the other 50% think that institutions should not be required to provide devices for students. So I also have mixed feelings about smartphones, even though I do allow them. As I mentioned, they can be used as a great resource, but there's not much worse than you trying to present knowledge and you look over and a student is on Facebook or texting. That is super, super frustrating. So what I take from this, and what I will strive to do as an educator, is guidelines, guidelines, guidelines. I think if there is a strict guideline policy and that this guideline is followed through, that it could be okay. Students need to know their boundaries when using devices such as smartphones in the classroom. They can know that, hey, maybe it's okay to look up resources when appropriate, but they should not be surfing the web. There's time for that at another day. This is mutual respect. So I need them to respect me and I'll respect them. So I think the answer to that is guidelines.